For this session, we're going to explore endings and beginnings because they're more intertwined than we realize. And this is definitely a mindfulness exercise that is going to take a bit of repetition before you feel like you understand your relationships to endings and beginnings. So be light with observations as you practice this mindfulness exercise a few times. Let's begin because we're discussing endings and beginnings and how they're intertwined with reverse nostril breathing. So you can use any two fingers that you like, or you can take the right hand up, take down the pointer finger, take down the middle finger, then take the ring finger across the body and lightly depress the left nostril. Seal the lips and take a nice smooth inhale into the right nostril. Retain the air in at the top. Now exhale out of that right nostril. Empty all the air out of the body. You can draw up on Mula Bandha, the perineum. You can suck the navel in and then hold the air out of the body. Release the contracting. Take your next inhale back into that right nostril. Hold the air in the lungs at the top. Now exhale. Empty completely. Draw up on Mula Bandha. Suck the navel in. Hold the air out of the body. Take your next inhale. Release the locks. Retain the air in at the top. Now exhale. Empty completely. Optional to contract the locks. Hold the air out of your body. Release the locks. Take your next inhale. Hold the air in. Now exhale. Hold the air out of the body. Release the locks. Take the thumb to press the right nostril. Release the ring finger off the left. Same thing. Take your next inhale into the left nostril. Hold at the top. Now exhale. Empty completely. Optional to contract the locks. Hold the air out of the body. Release the locks. Inhale. Retain at the top. Exhale. Empty the air. Optional to engage the locks. Hold the air out. Release the locks. Take your next inhale. Retain at the top. Exhale smoothly. Contract the locks. Hold the air out. Release the locks. Take your next inhale. Hold at the top. Now exhale. Empty completely. Hold the air out of the body. Release the locks. Take your next inhale. Hold at the top. exhale, empty completely. Contract the lungs, hold the air out of the body. Release the hand down. You can keep the eyes closed. Good. Now we're just going to take 3 simple breaths. Inhales in through the nose. Exhales out of the mouth. Take a nice deep inhale. And then exhale like you're blowing out a candle. Again, inhale. Exhale. Good. So this is the 3rd cycle. Take your next inhale. If you haven't already, you can gently close the eyes or focus the gaze down the tip of the nose as you exhale. And settle into a natural rhythm of breathing. Now bring your full attention to your breath. Watch your breath as an observer. Follow its path through your body. Feel how it flows through your belly and your chest. Feel your body relaxed on your next exhale and let physical tension drift away. Use all of your senses to anchor your attention to your breath. Listen to the sound of your breath. And be with the rhythm of your breath. Now learn from the breath. Learn from your breath. Each breath has an absolute beginning and a complete end, so that the next breath can be full and fresh to oxygenate us. Breathe deeper and just settle into this moment because you are exactly where you need to be. And let's go inward. We're all dealing with some form of change. This is the natural occurrence of the human experience. These changes can leave us struggling and processing a cascade of emotions which accompany change, whether the change is positive or negative. Take a few deeper breaths. And I want you to draw your attention to endings without too much effort. Mindfully explore and think about the next few questions. How do you meet endings? how do you process endings? Think of the end of a day. How do you end your days? Think of the end of a meal. How do you end a meal? Now think of the end of something precious and rare. How do you deal with the ending of something that you consider precious and rare? Now think about how you end your sentences. Anchor your awareness again to the breath and smooth out the breath and deepen the breath. Most of us have developed habits about the way in which we meet endings. Without any judgment or criticality, take a look to see what your relationship to endings has been. If you went to a party or a conference, do you have the tendency to leave before the event is over? Or perhaps over the years you've become ambivalent or indifferent about endings? Maybe endings are very emotional for you. Maybe you get sad or scared. Let's just take a look. Excuse me. I want you to just see and do your best to process what you are observing without judgment. How do you say goodbye when an appointment ends? Or when a friend is sick and dying, do you go to visit them? Now come back to just observing how these questions made you feel or how they resonated with you. And just reflect on how you meet endings. Let's go deeper. When you end a relationship, how do you do it? Do you try to shift it into some other form of relationship so that it continues? Do you destroy all the evidence of a failed relationship? Without judgment, just observe. Breathe a little deeper. A lot of the time we struggle with endings because we're holding on, clinging, hanging in there, because we still want, maybe demand something of that relationship. We want it to give us more of what we'd hope to get from that situation, maybe more success or more love. The vulnerability of observation is one of the best assets. And just stay present with the breath as you allow yourself to make observations here. The more comfortable we are with endings, the more we can welcome the new and release the old. What patterns are you noticing? Are you content with the way you meet endings? That question does not require an absolute answer. You don't have to be wedded to your old way of doing it. You can even make minor adjustments or take your time to see if you want to create changes. You have the freedom to approach endings and perhaps change, tweak, or adjust it right here, right now. And when an ending comes, have you ever noticed what happens with your body? Do you get tight, contracted, stressed? What's the emotional impact and experience? Does it bring about anxiety, fear, sadness, anger? And what happens in your mind when endings come? Soften into the breath and remember to be kind and not judgmental. The more we know about ourselves, the better we move into our next chapter. Now that you've made some observations about endings, ponder that you can end and begin things at your own rate and your own time. As you develop an understanding of your patterns with endings and beginnings, know that this can occur with thought patterns and our internal toxic dialogues. As you grow in your understanding of yourself, you develop the power to end and begin much just in your mind and heart. The way that we end something shapes the way the next thing begins. The way that we end something shapes the way the next thing begins. When we hang on to the past, it limits our capacity to welcome the new or truly make space for new. The way we meet and handle an end shapes the way the next moment can arise. The study of endings is a beautiful way to step fully into our lives. Take a few deeper breaths here. Soften where you can. Now let's cultivate a space for you to welcome a new chapter. This will require aligning with what you want in life. A fresh start can be small, medium, or large, and it can begin at any time. I want you to take the next few moments to think with your hope and your heart about the story you would like to read about your life 1 year from now. Sit with this and ponder, what decisions are you ready to make for your next beginning. But don't rush or get lost in an emotive thought. Breathe deeper. Your mind may have wanted to answer that question forcefully or quickly from a place of fear. But I want you to be a little slower and be an observer of your mind. And instead of just answering impulsively, instead, I invite you to take even deeper breaths in and see if you can feel the answer rising up from inside of you. I want you to allow the answer to come and appear from the depths of you. Let the answer be led by the power of your values, not fears. Our true answer can take time, but when you know and the answer reveals itself to you, I want you to cover and protect this answer in hope and wrap it in possibility, free of fear and noise from your past. You can take one hand and place it on the heart and the other on the belly. Breathe deeper, feel the breath, and feel your answer. What decisions are you ready to make? And just quietly let yourself be here and listen. Now take a deep breath in and just feel a smile in the heart. Maybe a hint of a smile comes to your face. Because on some level, you know you are full of promise and hope because you can choose to start anew. Full of possibility. And this new beginning is yours. And release the palms back down. And just feel an overall sense of yourself. And just let yourself dance in the freshness of the potential of a new beginning. The place where your deep desires for a better tomorrow fuel your attitude and mindful actions of today. This is a place where your dreams live vibrantly without the struggles or baggage from the past. A place where anything is possible because you are learning to be the architect of your ends and beginnings. Let's take 3 deep breaths here. Take a nice full inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. You can gently invite movement back into the body by wiggling all 10 fingers, all 10 toes. You can gently stretch the body and blink the eyes open. Thank you for practicing this mindfulness session with